Hi folks, this is a part 2 regarding the Bluetooth gadget for the shed. So I want a choice between listening to my Bluetooth music on my phone or a radio, and I want to switch between the both items. Now obviously I'm located in Ireland, and there's a lot of YouTubers in America, and they would be printing. They'd have 3D printers and CNC machines and massive workshops with all the tools. Unfortunately, in Ireland, a lot of us don't have any of that. So, but if anybody wants to sponsor a 3D printer or wants to donate a 3D printer, by all means, contact me and let me know. But so for the time being, what I had to do is, this is the cap that goes on the end of the pipe that I have, which I'll show you. So this is the pipe. I've changed the wood. The wood thickness is a bit thinner now because it was just a bit too thick. And the idea will be that when we mount these two devices, the audio device here, the audio player, and the Bluetooth device, when I put them two on this board, and I'll get a drawer slider, so that will be able to go in there. When I want to get access to them, I will just pull it out on the drawer slider, do what I need to do, and then push it back in. And then the top here fits onto that. Okay, so that's the idea of that. Now, so I had to cut holes in this, and it was a bit hit and miss because I don't have a 3D printer. So ideally with a 3D printer you could print this and you could have the holes perfect, but it did the job. It works. And what you have there, you have the switch between the radio and the Bluetooth. You have a light to say that there is power. Then you have the headphone jack, or the actual stereo jack for the radio, the USB to power it all, and then the speakers where you can wire in the speakers and play the music. Now at the moment the speaker's on the other end of the workshop, so what I've done is I've wired in this little mini speaker just to let you hear that it actually works. So the idea is, so it's switched on at the moment and the volume is up, and I'll be controlling the volume between the radio and the mobile phone. I don't need to go on the inside of this. So let's do a little test. So it's set to Bluetooth at the moment, so let's just play a Bluetooth song very quickly, because YouTube might ban me if you play music, so I'll just play it very quickly. Okay, so that's the Bluetooth playing. So I have a radio on this old mobile phone playing as well, so if we switch it over to radio, you can hear the radio. Okay, you can hear the radio, and that was basically the idea of designing this device. So I can switch between the Bluetooth and I can switch between the radio, and I can control both, put the speakers in, and have a stereo jack, or I can actually, anything that's stereo I can plug in there anyway, and I can switch between both. And the USB is about 5 volts of power, so it's standard USB power. I have it plugged into a power supply at the moment, but it'll work off a USB charger. It's not a problem at all. So yeah, so you have your audio device here, and then you have your Bluetooth NFC device there, and this is all the wiring. So basically with the wiring, it looks complicated, but this needs power. So there's power going from here, into here, and there's power coming from there into there, and there's power from the light going into there. So 3 types of power are coming from the USB, are powering the USB, and the USB power comes into this, and then there's a tapping from there. This stray cable here is basically for the speakers. That will be wired into the speakers there. I only have this set up temporarily, this speaker here. So while I'm waiting on parts to come in, because I'm still waiting on the actual drawer slider to come in, that slider hasn't come in yet. from AliExpress. Well, so while I'm waiting on that, and you've probably seen that I've sprayed it white as well, you know, to match the white. So it's a quick and dirty gadget, Bluetooth gadget, but it works. So this is the wiring part done. So now that the wiring's done, it's just a case of waiting for the parts to come in, putting the parts on, and then putting this all inside and tidying it all up, and then it'll be ready and good to go for the workshop. So this is a part 2. So part 3 hopefully will be when the parts come in, and then we'll be able to you'll see it working and you'll see it all put together, and we'll see how we get on. But that's it. Any questions or comments, drop them below. If you like, subscribe and click and do all that kind of stuff. Cheers. See you in part 3.